Hey, it's me again. Driving still. Actually, cut the other video short. I'm not gonna edit these, to be honest with you. I'm just not. I mean, look, I could edit them, but you know, I kind of like things to be natural. I kind of like, you know, fluidness. Sometimes, you know, again, you go out starting somewhere, but you end up with something better. And that was the whole point of the last video. You know, I mean, you want something, but you're gonna end up with better. And always think of it that way. And when something bad happens, be like, whoa, there's a silver lining on this. Because if you don't, you're always gonna be miserable. And no one wants to be miserable unless you're misterable and you're looking for Miss Ribble. No? You didn't get it? Miserable. Miss Ribble belongs with Mr. Ribble. But, you know, she's probably too miserable to know that she belongs with Mr. Ribble. Ah, misery loves company, doesn't it? Doesn't it? Doesn't it? It sure does. You know, the way I see it. Why can't happiness enjoy company? And look at that car, just wow, good job, all right, okay. Sometimes when I'm switching lanes, I don't only look into the lane that I'm going in, because I gotta be honest with you, that's not smart. You gotta look at the other lanes too, because oftentimes what you might find is someone wants to get into that spot too. Yeah. And so just be aware. Be aware, be aware, be aware. And it's so hard, you know, because we only got like these two eyes right here. You know, some people have eyes somewhere else, but that's not. Whoa. Yeah. When I was on my way up from Southern California to Northern California, 6-hour journey took me 6 days. The reason why I liked that journey was because I had no mommy, I had no daddy to bail me out. I had no form of communication. I didn't have a cell phone. Why? Look, okay? Not only was I very cheap, and you know, I didn't like spending money, but certain people felt better if I didn't have a phone. And I understand, you know, it is a necessity nowadays, but the way I always justified it, and I allowed justification of it, really, is if Grandpa could do without it, if my dad, whoa, good job, Mazda. See, this is why I'm afraid. And so when I was driving up that truck of mine, bear in mind it's a big 9-footer, okay, 1960-ish. Actually, it was like a 50, 1960, 1970. Because the body is different. I was still trying to figure out exactly what it was. The engine was different. In fact, the carburetor was different. There was different parts on that car. It was basically like a Frankenstein. So this 9-foot ice cream truck, driving it out from Southern California to Northern California by myself with my tools. And I realized that before I left, I needed some people to look over the engine. So I didn't trust myself. So I trusted the mechanic, one of the mechanics that I learned the street mechanic ways. His name was Catracho, o sea, he's from Honduras. People from Honduras are called Catrachos, people from Mexico are, well, if you're from DF, you're called Chilango. If you're from Guatemala, you're a Chapin. If you're from Salvi, trucha, but you have other stuff too. You know, but these are the common ones that I know of. There's other ones too, like nicas, but some people don't like that because it's also derogatory in their understanding of what it is. You know, we're getting into a lot of other things, but the point is, I kept having recurring nightmares, even though I had already checked off with Catracho, who said, you know what, she'll get there, but, you know, it won't be pretty, you know. And I knew it because I needed to rebuild the engine. The idea was to go up north, spend some time with my brother, you know, and then from there go to Idaho with Grandpa and with my father, and bond with him. And yeah, it didn't quite turn out that way. Kept having recurring nightmares before I left of dying, of getting hit by the side and then falling off and just tumbling, getting hit from the driver's side. Boom. That looks like a firefighter, fire helicopter. Yeah, man, it's been really hot here, and yeah, does one cause the other, or does the other cause one? You know, is it hot because of all the stuff that's going on? You know, fireworks and etc., etc., or is it hot because, you know, there's the fire's caused by the heat? We're drifting, tangents. So there I was with this fear of dying driving, and a 6-hour journey took 6 days. I left on February the 13th. That's why February is a very important month for me, because it's my time. It's my time. I left on the 13th, and I bought some roses on the 13th and the 14th. Some chocolates and stuff. You know, they didn't have any cool, you know, hey, we're broken up, and you know, we're probably not gonna see each other for a very long time, you know, cards. They didn't have any of those cards, or, you know, divorce ones. So I went with the next best thing. I thought it was a joke, and so I got the my condolences one, the one for a funeral. And, you know, me understanding how I felt, I still thought it was funny enough to throw that as a joke, because I do like it. I mean, I love to laugh. If I don't make myself laugh, believe you me, there are other emotions. So even though I had other mechanics look at it, it didn't reassure me. I constantly had to stop. I had radiator problems, I had water pump problems, and I had to fix it myself. I didn't have anyone to reference except the cool guys at AutoZone and O'Reilly's. You guys are awesome, by the way. And the one off of Maine. You'll have to forgive me, Dave. Sorry, man, but you're definitely one of the coolest guys I've met. Owns this place, and he has been good to not only myself and my father. I want to say auto parts supply, or auto supply. Oh my God, you're gonna, well, it doesn't matter. I can't believe I forgot. Can't believe I forgot. I hope you don't see this video. So yeah, all right. So anyway, so thanks to people with good hearts and good knowledge, I was able to go through this. And bear in mind, I didn't have a phone, no phone. And I chose to do it that way. I like, you know, kind of when a challenge, that's when I'm really hardy though. When a challenge comes my way, it's kind of like, you know, bring it, you know. But sometimes, you know, after a lot of, we get pounded. So 6 hours, 6 days. On one of the last legs, I got stranded in Los Baños. And this is before me actually feeling like I was going to get dead. So my carburetor was flooding constantly, and I knew it was the float. I didn't find out it was the float until much later, but it was just something very small problem that made a big problem. I couldn't go past 30 miles an hour on the highway. Think about that. You know how dangerous that is? Everyone's going 80. And there I am. I was on the side, okay? I was on the emergency. I had to get to where I was getting, and I was being as cautious as I could. But after a while, that it hit. I was going 60, 65, and then she just died, and she could not give me the power she was giving me before. And so there I am, and I'm thinking that these guys, man, they're gonna kill me, or I'm gonna kill them, man, because they're going really fast. And in fact, it was some county, some guys that were transporting some prisoners, some sheriffs. I'm sorry, I forgot where I was exactly, but they said, "Hey, man, you got to be careful, man. You're gonna kill somebody." And I said, "No, I know. Why else do you think I'm driving here?" You know, and I didn't want anyone to get in trouble. I don't want anyone to get in trouble, man. Everyone works too hard and deals with too much, you know, to lose just because of some small stupid thing. Okay? And so these sheriff guys, you know, they're upset with me. They gave me a ticket, but then I kept going. I also got one for the windshield. Great, it also broke on the way. Isn't that pretty? Ugh. Then the lights, they weren't working. I couldn't turn on my lights, so I was only driving during the daytime, and we're talking about daybreak. As soon as it hit morning, I let myself drive. You know, traffic was really low then, and etc., etc. And then after, you know, before the around 11ish or so, you know, depending on how it looked on traffic and everything, I'd pull over, or I'd go to the city that I was going at, and this is all through the 5 freeway, going northbound, Southern California, Northern California. So that some people can understand, you know, I was telling them I was going to Sacramento, because, you know, instead of saying, you know, Antioch, where's Antioch? And no one knows, okay? It's this place no one knows about, okay? And so there I am. I should be going faster on this lane, but traffic and cushion. So going there, and after these police, you know, told me this, you know, I didn't want to die. I did not want to die. I was running out of water for my car, and there was a man that was in the fields, and he had some water, and I asked him for some water, and he came around in his truck and he gave me some water to drink, and I said, I feel bad using this water for my truck, and he said, don't worry about it. And it was some ice cold water, something my truck did need, but something I needed more, and something that people in the fields and work in this heat, you know, that they need. And so I don't forget his name, because he has the same name as one of my brother-in-laws. His name is Sergio. As I saw the mountains, as I saw the fields, as I saw the greenery, the shrubbery, couldn't help but feel like, you know, this is my time, I'm gonna leave. But even though I can even, I don't know how to explain it, the darkness, the end, I just asked, no, just want to make it over there, please, please. And I said, I'll build churches, man, just let me live. Some of the first churches were opened only because, or started, I should say, because, you know, early man was very illiterate. You know, we didn't have schools before. We didn't. You know, it was just, we were farmers, or we owned a little piece of land, and the father would teach the son and the mother would teach the daughters. That's how it was. But, you know, as cities expanded, you know, we had urban sprawl. People had to specialize and learn to do things, and they didn't have time for their kids. It's no different than today. A lot of people don't have time to be with their kids because they're too busy putting a roof over their head, and they're too busy providing, you know, food for the day or for the next day. Every other day, these kids, every other day, food this, we're hungry, Nikes. And I'm just kidding, it's every other day though. I mean, you gotta be honest with you, and be thankful for what little you have, man. And believe you me, you can always do with less. You can always do with less, because we are in the country of excess, and we can do with less. And I love my country. I am an American. You know, they could throw snot at us for the pumps that we are, because yeah, we like our big screen TVs. I just wish they understood that a big screen TV is only fun for one guy for so long. Eventually, you want to share your big screen with somebody else. You want to cuddle on the couch with someone else. You want them to play video games with you. And so there I was, and I made a bet. You know, after, you know, it shook off me, and I was trying to get out of it. I don't want to die, right? So it was kind of this, look, man, I don't believe, but I kind of know what the hell just happened. And I get to keep the land, but, you know, they have churches all across the coast. I get it. I was trying to get out of it. To be honest with you, I was trying to get out of it. That's why it's embarrassing. I don't want to talk about it. I always was fascinated with the missions that were up and down the coast of California. I thought it's beautiful. It's a beautiful story of how it started. Don't like what they did to the Indians, but you know what? Could be worse, bro. And so in remembering that from school, remembering what my brother had to do, and remembering what I had to do for school, you know, these little projects and stuff, and the learning of stuff, I just, you know, said, okay, cool, you know, 1 for each one, you know, 2 for each one, because it made sense. If one was good back then, and man is still dumb, then we need 2. Churches were schools. That's the way I see it. There are 2 kinds of people. Those with faith and those with faith. I have faith in numbers and words and science. I also have faith in the grander scheme of things, in the Godhead, or Atman, Bear's head. No, that's to begin. Bear's head. Bear's head. I gotta get back to reading. I didn't want to lose you guys. I didn't want to leave without you guys knowing how much I loved you. And I needed to try. If my father could have, and did, trek across all of Mexico to get here and give me what he gave me, it was no small task for me to just try. And I did fail. Kind of like that double or nothing. Oh, we're smart enough now. We don't need churches. I was wrong. Because the only thing I realized from reading my books to write music for it, and not the pretty kind, was no, people need these books more than I do. The funny thing is that I was tricked into reading them. Oh, you want to talk bad stuff, huh? You like black metal? Okay. Well, you can't talk smack if you can't defend it. I mean, if you don't know it, it's easy, man. Oh man, smart people, man. I love smart people. I love intelligent people as well. That's how I was tricked into reading the Bible, or some of it at least, and some from a little bit. Just, oh, you really want to talk smack about it? Oh, okay, read it so you can actually do it right. I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna do that. And you know, read little parts here and there, and I sit and digest it. Sit and digest it, because you need to think about what it is and understand why it is that this was the way that it was back then, not now. It's irrelevant now, but I'm wrong about that too, because it's just as relevant today as it was back then. It's just that people are doing the excess. And in fact, Slayer talks about it as well. Bear in mind, you know, this isn't the most beautiful music to listen to, but I like juxtaposition. In fact, Tom Araya is a devout Catholic from Megadeth, Dave Mustaine, reborn Christian. I mean, nothing wrong with believing, man. These guys lived fast. They more than likely wanted to die young, but now they're at these times in their lives with kids and other things in the world that really. Can you explain that to me again? I'll be honest with you, I still don't believe, but I'm getting there. And it's only simply because I believe what Voltaire said. In the beginning, God created man. Man, being so grateful, returned the favor. That's why it makes sense to me that all this is us. Is it. And we take turns being one another. When you go look inside the mirror, that is God. Everything in the mirror, even that stuff behind that you don't see, is God. And you have power to change those things that you don't like. So when you see someone you don't like, for example, a bum or a homeless person, you have power to change that. That is a reflection of you. He is taking that place for you. And I told you guys this, especially when Grandpa passed, because I was very upset at the fact that they did speak to you guys about God and baby Jesus being up there and watching everything, and you know, because that's my job. That's my job. That was my job. Why are they gonna take my job from me? I wanted to show you. If everyone gets to indoctrinate you on what their beliefs are, how come I can't indoctrinate you on my beliefs? Be it how silly they are. That I believe we're all taking turns being one another. That's a silly belief, sure. And that's why I subscribed to that of the atheists for a while, just to you know, turn a little heads, I guess, or just to make people think differently. And it essentially was, you know, atheists believe in the flying spaghetti monster god that lives behind the rings of Saturn. How is that any different than believing in someone that existed more than 2,000 years ago who is the son of a carpenter? It sounds silly if you break it down any other way. But that's what faith is, right? Look at these big old things that fly in the air. Science. People have faith in their numbers. People have faith in their science. It's no different than someone's faith in that which they don't understand. Science, technology, all these things came from the church because the church gave it food. The church loved these people and allowed them the time to learn, to sit, to reflect. These monks, these scientists. And I love scholars, people who study, people who love their books, who write their books. Because if not you, who? If not now, when? And I love you guys to death and back. Believe you me, death and back. I'll do anything. And that's the problem. And that's why I rather keep you guys away. And I know it sounds really messed up sometimes to say it like that, but you guys can look for me and you guys will find me. I promise. I'm not gonna fight for something that I know is mine and is my place. And hopefully you guys get great and learn and two for everyone. There are 21 missions in the El Camino Real, the King's Road. And so I'm going to go and I'm going to learn about these missions and learn about the communities around there and see what is lacking or not lacking. Because it is my belief also, just like on Paramahansa Yogananda was putting, you have to have courage, right? You have to have courage, and your smiles will bring smiles to other people. And a cool thing about this particular religion, it's not a Swami or whatever, I don't know how you want to say it, but the new and the old are linked. If you think of it like a circle, and you put a line on it, that's the beginning and that's the end. So if you just undo it, you have one line, and you got terminals at each end, terminators. Study, learn. Study, learn, grow, teach. What does Daddy love the most? What does Daddy value the most? And all I ever wanted you to do was try. Remember, I don't care if you succeed or fail, because that's going to be your motivation. To either try again or to try to do better. But try, okay? It's the first step to success or failure. What makes the difference is the attitude, okay? I miss you guys a lot. Don't think I don't think about you. Skate, learn, put down the phone every so often, go and talk to people, go and explore, think more, and do with less. And as always, read. Because if I have a love for books, pretty sure you do too. Read. I don't have enough books. You can never have enough books. But we each take turns. That's why there are police officers, and I'm happy that there are. Wow, half an hour. I'm sorry. I'm gonna wrap this up. Anyone that's willing to have their heart in the right place is all right with me. Intent is what matters. Sometimes good people do bad things on accident or on purpose. I feel intention is really what we should be focusing on. What was their intention? Signing off. Bum, 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 bum. You know what? All Bears, bro. Bears head. Come on. Bears. California, the Golden State. It's us. Californian.